Windowsill cat. Windowsill cat. It's technically not a window, it's like a gate, but hi everybody. If any of you have been wondering what's Jenta doing, where's Jenta? Is Jenta okay? Little update. I'm just sulking. Needlessly sulking. This always happens when good things happen. It's like a bad habit where something good happens and I just can't handle it, so I try to equal it out by kind of like punishing myself and just nastiness. It's just nasty thoughts, nasty emotions, can't really help it. Basically what happened is I got to play with my siblings, got to meet all of them together at the same time, and it was awesome. I have some clips that I want to edit correctly. I usually just post clips on Instagram, not edited, but I have to. Like, we had some freaking nice moments, like especially at the end. That one, I'm halfway edited it on my tablet, but then I'm at an impasse with how to edit a certain part because I was subtitling every word they were saying, and I went, oh no, if I keep doing that, and then I have to like crop it out and then pip it, because that's it. Editing, not my forte, especially on a tablet. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. But that was kind of the beginning of like my downfall, which is so sad to say. Having a good experience makes me a little bit depressed afterwards. I think it's like the same way people feel after like going to a convention of any kind, like a gathering that you actually want to go to, and then when you go home, or like after you gotten off the ride at the roller coaster place, what is that, an amusement park, right? You go home and you're like, damn, I miss it. And then you kind of just sulk for a few days and you're like, if only I could pay to be there every day, right? We ain't got no Disney here. Oh, man. But yeah, I'm just kind of sulking. One of the parts that I've been lingering on is that the script for the Corpse Party fan-made game was given to us finally. Not finally, they're working really fast. And I have only 30 lines, but we're supposed to send in mandatory lines, like 3 of them, to make sure we got the tempo correct, right? Like it's checking before you do all of them, because some of the characters have like 100 lines. Mine's just 30. I'm a small timer. I'm not gonna be in the whole game, just like the beginning maybe. I'm a side character, supporting character. I'm Ayumi. Ayumi? I think I'm Ayumi. Yeah, I'm the I'm the occult girl. Oh man. I'm like, what is it? Don't worry, Mochida. And they say, with more confidence. So I've already forgotten the voice I've used. Anyways, how does that incorporate with me being a bit like of a dullard in the head? Like it makes me a little bit depressed. Well, you ever do this thing called procrastinate? I would not recommend. So basically, while I'm in a funk, I'm already like not thinking properly. So to add to that is like every day that ticks by, it's like a scratch in my head. Like it just makes it worse. It's like I should have done that, or at least, sent in the 3-line mandatory. We do have like a due date, and I definitely will get it done before then, knock on wood. How about I knock on my head, because it needs to be knocked. Come on, brain, you gotta work properly. I'm just a mess of a person. The other thing that's been eating away in the back of my mind, other than I need to do the voice work, is like I'm supposed to be writing about my character for a family game night. And I basically passed the due date on that 3-4 days. And I wrote stuff, but I'm like, is it detailed enough? Is it too detailed? Have I gotten my point across? Wait, I want to rewrite it. Oh, God. It's just like, maybe it would be easier to talk about it. I don't know. Am I allowed? Since this is a Jenta talks, Jenta speaks, what am I gonna name these now? Jenta goes on a tangent. I don't know what the acronym for that would be, but that fits. I go on a tangent, and sometimes when I listen back to stuff, I'm like, you didn't finish that thought, and I go, yeah. Oh, man. But yeah, that's been eating away at my head too. Is like, I want it to be perfect. I want it to be correct. And I said I would do art too. So I'm just adding unnecessary thoughts on top of unnecessary thoughts. I really just should. Because I'm getting PTSD from school, is the problem. Like, you have to do this assignment on time. You have to do it in this way, right? Like, have it at least make sense. Make it look like you at least tried. And actually for this is like, this is a project you get from school that you actually want to do, and you want it to be good, and you want to have fun with it, but then you get super anal and then it just ruins it, and so you feel like crap. It's dumb. It's dumb. It's stupid thoughts that really just, you do it. Just do it. Do it. Just do it. That's basically what it's boiling down to. I've been kind of running out of options to entertain myself on the sidelines. I waste away my days in a very pathetic way. And I'm trying to like justify how much of a waste I am. And it's not working, right? Like, my mom tries to do that for me, and I'm like, nah, at the end of the day, I live in my body. I know what I'm either capable of or not capable of, and I know if this is truly procrastination or, like, my mental disorders blocking me from having a functionable time. I can't really say. I'm waiting for the psych eval. Might not be even anything. Like, if anything, she's just, from what my mom said, she's probably either going to confirm. I roll my eyes. Oh my God. She's either going to confirm what we already know or be like, no, you don't. And I already know that whatever she says can be thrown out the window, because she works for a specific brand of healthcare that is the only option, and it's dog shit. Well, it's not the only option, but it is if you're poor and disabled. And it's your only option. I already said this, but I'll say it again. When we went there for the psych eval, there was literal a murder of crows. That's what a big group of crows is called. It's called a murder of crows. There was a legit murder of crows over this entire building, and they had like this giant cross, like, I don't know, mounted way up on like the roof. The fucking crows were all over that. I'm like, I ain't religious, but that doesn't look good. They're like vultures waiting for somebody to die. When we left, they were all gone. I'm like, ugh. I don't. None of that seems right. I'm not the superstitious kind of person, but damn. I'm like, I don't want to go in there. It's just gonna make me feel worse. And it did. I cried 17 times, no joke. It might have been 13. Yeah, I would cry, I would collect myself, and then I would cry again. It was so fucking pathetic. It was a mess. I think I actually age regressed during that entire, like, can I call it an investigation? For those of you that don't know about like age regression or what the fuck that means, is like basically if you get traumatized or you get triggered, to cope with the trauma or the overstimulation of the event that is either currently happening or has already happened in your life, you can kind of revert to a certain age, right? It's very sad. What age did I revert to? I couldn't tell you. Younger. Just slightly younger, not baby, but like it was like I'm back in the 6th grade or junior high. No, it had to be the 6th grade because in junior high I was a put together person and I was doing great. 6th grade was I'm still kind of clueless about what's going on. Nobody ever told me what school was for. Did I ever tell that story? Nobody ever told me what school was for, and that's why like I never treated any of it seriously. I think that's why elementary was fun to an extent. Um I cried a lot. I cried so much out of frustration that my brain actually learned how to be like, "Oh, she's overstimulated and upset, and that's not good because this keeps happening. So we're going to make her laugh." So instead of triggering the sad part of your brain, it triggered my is it right to say endorphins? The happy part of my brain, and I would have giggle fits, and then literally everything would be funny. And those moments were fun, but before my brain was able to do that for me, it was kind of like, oh god. I heard that. Dreamy's stomach gurgled. It's so weird being able to hear that out of a doggy girl. Oh, she's dreaming. Hold on. Dreamy! Wake up, baby. You're having a dream. Is this wrong? I know you're supposed to say, what's the saying? It's like you're supposed to let sleeping dogs lie. Wah. Sleeping dogs lie. What are they lying about? What falsities are they trying to say in their mind? No, I call her name and give her a little, a little bit, "You okay?" shake. And she'll wake up and look at me and be like, "Bruh." And I'm like, "It's okay, go back to bed, try again." Does anybody else say that? Because I've done that with my mom a lot too, because she snored. In one of the member only videos, I mentioned how I actually slept in the same room as my mom for like the majority of like 7 to 10. So maybe it was even 6 to 10. Yeah, I had my own room right next to her room, but I never used it because I was a frightened child. I had screamy Mimi fears. So I would sneak into my mom's bed every night, and she was losing sleep over it because she was always afraid that she would like roll over on me. She never did. She never moved. She can't move. She's a very heavily built person. If she ever fell off the bed, we'd know. She's only done that like once, and even then it was like, "Did you actually do that, or were you kind of awake?" And she's like, "I have no idea." I think she did that when I was still on the mattress on the floor. So my mom would have like her box spring and her bed like set up normally, and I got like a single kid mattress on the floor because I hated box springs and I refused to have any different mattress. She tried to make me change, and I was like, "No." And at the end of the day, are we gonna lose sleep over this? My mom's a very, very sweet person. Like, the more I look back at my childhood, if I was in anybody else's family, I would have been a very asshole of a person. Or maybe even a traumatized person because my needs weren't being met and I'm sensitive to certain situations. My mom is a definition of my parents failed me and I'm not going to fail my kid. right? It takes 3 generations for that to go. Maybe even, yeah, 3 generations. So it'd be my great grandpa, then mom. Yeah, and then there's me. So 3 generations to filter out crappy old methods and stuff. Why was I talking about this? Oh, she would snore. Why was I talking about she snores? Oh, because I was waking up dreamy. See what I mean? I never finish a thought. I get on a tangent. These should be just called Jenta tangent longs. I don't know. We'll workshopping that. Not probably. I'll forget and probably not commit to a name, but Jenta Talks has, you get it. You get what I say, Jenta Talks. So yeah, when, like, I needed her snoring noise for 2 reasons. I needed the white noise. We already had, like, a noisemaker, which I think now that, before we got the noisemakers we have, which are actual, like, white noise makers for, like, therapists, to, like, make it so people can't hear in through therapy conversations. I think they're used basically for what we use them for, but the first noisemaker we had, I think, was like a filtration system, like a humidifier, but we didn't use any of those parts. We literally just let it, I don't think it hummed. It did air, like an air conditioner, but with no temperature. I don't know how to explain it. It was like a fan, but an internal fan. I don't know. It was an old thing. I remember we brought that downstairs. I lost a puzzle piece in it. I lost a puzzle piece in it. I totally forgot. Was it the same thing, or was that actually a humidifier? Anyways, I lost a puzzle piece because I loved puzzles at the time, and I was working on an 1,000 puzzle. Does that make any sense? 1,000-piece puzzle. Okay. And just like child me would always hide one. I would hide quite a few. So I would guarantee that I would be the last one to put in a puzzle piece. Man, I don't know. Do you kids even experience that stuff anymore? Do you even know what a floppy disk is? Typewriters and stuff. Having a TV the size of a fucking brick. Yeah, those things are no joke. A lot of people died because they fell. Morbid facts. Anyways, like, because I would sleep with my mom in her room. I was on the floor mattress because I refused to have a box spring, and she would be, in one side of the room, I would be other side of the room. It's a very small room, so we're basically right next to each other, except I'm on the floor basically. And she snores, and sometimes she snores wrong. Like, there's normal snoring, but then sometimes there's either more mucus in their system, or it's the way that they're just positioned sleeping, that they'll do like nasally whistling, or like crackling, or like dee 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 dee, dee 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 dee. And it's at that point you lose your sanity and you're like, nuh-uh, try again. I would wake up my mom. It was the hardest thing to do. But I think I catched on when I was a kid that she really falls back asleep really quickly. Aw, he's a baby girl. It's a baby girl. Dreamy rolled over. She got hot. Oh, your little tail floofy. Anyways, but yeah, it always terrified me to like wake up my mom, because she already worked a lot to like help me, and I know she was always stressed. Like, she was a workaholic when I was a kid, which she always sees as like her being a bad parent, but I'm like, you worked from home. I saw you every day. I helped you. Right? Like, it would be different if you were a workaholic and you had to go somewhere and you wouldn't see your kid often. I would admit that that would probably contribute to some maybe not so good developments if that were my childhood. But it wasn't. My mom did everything right, whether it was incidentally or just putting her foot down and being like, this is the right way to do it, even if I have nothing I can say it is for sure. Like, she put a lot of thought, care, and attention into me. She had to put up with a lot. Little Jenta didn't know how to tie her shoes, even though I knew how to tie my shoes. So she would try to teach me how to tie my shoes. I would be like frustrated and start crying. I had to have my socks a certain way before I even put them in a shoe. And I'm like still in the like 6th grade, almost halfway through 6th grade, and I'm still wearing Velcro sneakers because I don't know how to tie my shoes. And then when it's gym day and you didn't bring your gym shoes, oh my god, they would make you use a pair from the gym. So she had like a bunch of like different sizes, but they were all laces. And so I had to make up a way how to tie them. And I got yelled at. Oh, wait, I shouldn't say that. Fuck. Okay, so I tried bringing the story up on a stream, but it wasn't the time. Yeah, hi Dream. Gonna be my emotional therapy dog in a minute. So, my gym teacher, I think I can say her, how would I use, okay. Her name is Miss Bales, and me and her didn't have the best history. Like, she wasn't mean or anything. She just was, like, a side fear of mine because I didn't know how to tie my shoes. And when I got, you know, like, it was my greatest fear that somebody would know I didn't know how to tie my shoes. And then when I had to get those like replacement pairs for the day, for just the hour in gym class, she's like, Jenta, what are you doing? I'm like, what? She's like, tie your shoes. I'm like, I did. She's like, no, tie them right. It's like, I don't know how. I think I've actually blocked out the whole memory because I can't remember if she actually tied my shoe or she let me be. Anyways, that was the beginning of me feeling like, oh no, secret's out. I'm a garbage person, right? But she was creative and fun. She was a definition of a gym teacher. She was kind of chubby, or maybe more fat, but she was very athletic and able and creative with the kids for all of us. Like, she was a good gym teacher. She wouldn't have made a good anything else, but she made a good gym teacher. Well, that's a lie, actually. When we get to it, I'll talk about it. So, I also remember when I went to 5th grade camp, she was our teacher for our conglomerate of girl students. And I had lost a whole luggage bag that had important things in it, like a towel for showers that they mandated. I didn't mind the mandate. I took showers daily. I didn't have a fucking towel or washcloth, so I had to, like, pathetically ask people if I could use theirs after them, and they were all kind of, like, confused, and if it wasn't for my best friend, I would have been fucked. I literally had to use a washcloth to dry me off. It did nothing. But, like, Miss Bales, was like, where's your toothbrush? Where's your deodorant? And, I was terrified of my teeth, so originally I didn't pack, probably. Maybe I did for the toothpaste and toothbrush. I did pack it, but that was a part of the stuff that I had left it. I didn't leave it behind. It just wasn't delivered till literally as we were leaving. They're like, here's your bag. What the fuck? Nightmare fuel. Anyways, so she kind of embarrassed me and lectured me. She's like, you need your toothbrush. You need your deodorant. Do you not know how to use deodorant? And then she just was like miffed. And I felt, shamed, and I wanted to cry. And so I crawled into my bed and just like hid my face, and it was horrible. Anyways, what was even more embarrassing is that the next time we were at her cabin, she's like, here's your toothbrush, here's your toothpaste, here's your deodorant, go use it. And I was like, fuck, lady, what the hell? Like, completely not reading the room here. It still feels gross to me. Though, to make up for it, because we were all sleeping, like, everybody, it was like a giant sleepover with, like, your whole entire class, which never, like, nobody has done that. Maybe with a few of your friends, but, like, the entire female cast of your of your class. So everybody was quiet. And I did sneak in my DS, because you weren't allowed to bring anything, like a phone or an iPod, or like, you can bring a disposable camera, because they said at that point, we don't want to be held liable if you break it or drop it. I think now they would be like, all right, you can have your phones, but just don't have them out all the time, right? We were just before that cutoff. Anyway, so it's like nighttime, and every single person is a quiet sleeper. Nobody's rolling over. Nobody's humming in their sleep. Nobody's doing anything. And I'm like, I need noise. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm not going to be able to sleep. So I like sneak out. Was it my DS, or was I sneaking to read a book that I didn't care about, like trying to make me bored? I couldn't remember. It's one or the other. I snuck in contraband, I think so. Anyways, about like 3 minutes in or 5 minutes in, Miss Bales is completely asleep, and she starts snoring, and I could tell the whole room went like actually still and was like, what? And she's snoring again. I think we all giggled a little bit, and then everybody had the realization that they can't sleep with that, but I needed it. So it was kind of like a redeem moment there, that, you guys get not the perfect sleep, well, I go sleep now. I also found it gross at the time that I'm like comforted by the lady who's been not the best experience with. Like, her snoring redeemed all the past sins. And she didn't have many. It was just like personal, like, if you didn't know me as a child, like, how would you have known that, right? She was a good teacher. Anyway. So, like, I graduate, elementary school, and all that stuff. Graduate. And we got dreamy about 2-3 years ago, just before the lockdown began in America. And we had been taking her daycares and looking for like dog sitters, because it's not that we're not home. We wanted her to socialize, because if she didn't socialize, she would be like we are, and that's not good, right? Now we're on the 5th generation of parenting. Me being a parent, like, she needs to socialize, and we kind of need a break from her because she's a puppy, right? Because we all have health issues, and going for a quick walk is a lot of effort to set up. Like, my mom has to get her oxygen tanks all in order, and I have to like fight through my anxiety, and then stupid, like, man, I couldn't wear pants for so long. So I was like, how do I wear this ugly kind of revealing dress I shouldn't go out with, and so I'm fighting with myself, and it takes us literally a half hour, and Dreamy's just all excited, and we play with her before, and just getting her to the walk was kind of like, you know, she's mellowed out. I've always felt bad that we weren't more able-bodied, but it's a good thing we had, like, doggy daycare. Well, I don't know how, as this story continues, I don't know how Mom found Miss Bale. She was on, like, myneighborhood.com, where it's like, you can, it's like a Facebook, like, oh, if you live in this town, you can see this entire page, right? And you can post and contribute. But this was like a whole separate site, like myneighborhood.com, and you can, it's like, I live here. Is anybody needing, like, extra food? Has anybody seen this? Like, there's a cat missing. It sounds like a really nice site, right? It's like a job site and also a community forum. I don't know, it's weird. Anyways, my mom found her on there, and then she found her on Facebook because she had her Facebook linked. And she's called the dog Grandma now. I'm like, the first time we took her, Mom wanted me to come so I could, say hi and whatnot. And I was like, why are you so insistent? And it's just like, we're going to see the dog Grandma. And I go, yeah, it's the lady that'll take care of Dreamy, hopefully, if today goes well. And when her door opened, and it's just my gym teacher, I was befuddled. I'm like, wait a fucking minute. She looks older, but, like, what the hell? She looks exactly the same, just grayer hair. And yeah, this was, like, the most open, and, like, I got to know her as a person and her personality. I wasn't a student, like a little piece of shit kid anymore. So I got the adult, like, pleasantry experience. And it was nice to get to know her as a person like that. So Dreamy would go there pretty regularly. Like, we could just... we knew their hours, and we would just, like, sometimes give heads up, like, a day, or maybe not, because she's always home, and she's like, I'm retired now, as a gym teacher, and, they're doing this as side money, and it's because she genuinely loves dogs. She has 2 dogs, and it was a very lovely thing. Dreamy learned how to have a pack from her. Like, at her other daycare, it was, oh, there's so many dogs. Oh, there's so many dogs. But it was still, she wasn't fixed yet. So there was a cutoff with them before we could get her surgery. So she can't have puppies. So it was relatively safe at Miss Bale's home. Like, they had a big ass backyard and, like, 3 stories. It was wonderful. They'd be couch potatoes, and they'd be zooms in the back. We got to watch them a few times. It was lovely. Because it would be other people's dogs, too. Not too many, but it was a whole troop, and every time somebody got picked up, you get to see them all at the door. And Dreamy's the smallest, so she was able to always get out, and she'd be like, yay, home, and then she'd be like, oh, car, because she doesn't like the car. Anyways, once Dreamy got her surgery, so now she can't have puppies, I always say the wrong term. She got spayed. Neutering is for male dogs, right? So she got spayed. That was stressful. I don't want to talk about that because this is Miss Bale's story. Anyway, so the doggy daycare place we used to take her, somebody must have gotten COVID and their hours changed drastically, or something happened, and we stopped going to them a lot, pretty much entirely. And so we had Dreamy, and we're like, okay, we have to walk her. And we weren't doing very well. So we hired a dog walker, and that lasted 2 days. And then we hired another dog walker, and that lasted 2 days. And we're like, well, the only place we know we're good at is the dog park, because there's benches. It's relatively big, relatively small. We have rest stops and stuff. So we take her to the park often, thank God. We're not bad parents. She loves it there. I really wish she wasn't so bossy or, well, snippy. Like, she tells the other dogs, ever since she got spayed, she refuses to have chivalry with other dogs. Like, if Dreamy wants to sniff your ass, you can't sniff her ass. She doesn't tolerate any kind of mounting behavior that even is hinted at. Which, now that she's, she can't have babies, it's not a concern, but it is a thing. It's like, hey, control your fucking dog. That's like, this is doggy rape. But Dreamy is like a spitfire. She whirls around. She like does this like fucking 180 hop and gets right in their face and goes, "Roar!" And she'll really, really tell them. I just wish she learned how to make her point and then not make a scene afterwards, because sometimes she'll chase them because she likes running. Half of it I can see is still the anger of like, what did you just do to me? Don't come near me, grr. She's not aggressive. She learned how to be possessive, and that's something we are trying to help her alleviate. She's gotten better. Another problem we had was Dreamy is not the best with puppies because she doesn't understand the social, she doesn't read social cues very well when it comes to puppies. A great example would be like, at one time, actually, let's not tell that because that actually comes together. Anytime there's a puppy that's like 6 months or 5 months or 4 months or any of those months that we hear, and they have puppy energy, or they're already skittish. It's usually always the ones that are skittish, because it's their first time there, right? They just got all their shots. They can legally go to the dog park. So they try it, and I feel bad because Dreamy loves to know everybody. So she runs up to these poor puppies, and we've had dogs who just get, like, they're not even puppies, just small chihuahuas go from, ah! And I'm like, oh, Dreamy, no. Like, she didn't touch him or anything. She just ran into their face. I would yell too. Like, what the hell? So I'm like, Dreamy, come here. But she's like, no, I have to sniff. I have to sniff. I have to sniff. And then she's like doing this hop thing. She keeps doing this hop thing. They're like, play, play, play. And I'm like, Dreamy, you have to do the play bow. You can't just hop like a maniac. That's not... For the bigger dogs, they get what you're doing, but not for babies. Babies don't know what you're doing, honey. Anyway. Moving forward, that went on a tangent about Dreamy. So we were going to the dog park one day. This is still on Mrs. Bales, by the way. And my mom I was stuck in a rut. I was on the wrong time, so Mom was taking her to the dog park. And Mom came back and said, oh, they added a new bench. And I'm like, yeah, I saw that last time we were there. She's like, huh. And we weren't there yet, but as we were driving there while I'm holding Dream, I'm like, something clicked in my head, and I was like, so wait, what about the dog grandma? And she goes, what? The dog grandma, you said they were moving, like they were beginning to move. That's why, like, we stopped taking her there for a bit, because I heard that she got sick, but then she was feeling better, and they were like trying to move anyways, and so, dog grandma was ending, and they were going to move in this certain direction, like, we wouldn't have her anymore, and we were like, oh, no. So I'm like, whatever happened to them? And, my mom was like, oh, well, he didn't want to sell the house because the kids didn't want him to be, like, all alone, and so, the kids made him stay, and they didn't end up moving. And I just kind of blinked. I go, what? She goes, what? I go, what do you mean he's alone? And my mom goes, I'm like, Mom. She goes, oh, no. It's like, and then I was like, Mom, did somebody die? And she's like, I didn't tell you. I forgot I didn't tell you. And I'm like, what happened? She had gotten sick. She had already, I don't know what it was. She had it. Right, she had little hiccups here and there, but they didn't know exactly what it was till she went to the hospital. And they're like, I don't know if it was liver damage or liver cancer, or it was something pretty damn important that's like, uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. Sorry if you've been hearing Mr. Ballin in the background. I didn't know he was playing till just now. But yeah, she got really sick really quick. She was in the hospital for 4 days. And then she was gone. And that was 2 months ago, and I didn't know. She's like, my mom said it was really fast. It was really fast. I didn't know at first either, but it was my best friend's mom posted to her Facebook that she'll be missed, and it was Bales's name. And that's how she knew. And she checked around and was like, yeah, she passed in November or something. Not even November, it was really fast, like no more than like a couple months ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and just within 4 days she was gone. And she didn't tell me. I had no idea. So as we're going to the dog park, I'm like, I don't want to go to the dog park right now. I mean, I wasn't crying or anything. Like, it hurts more because the story doesn't end there. Put on a strong face. Dreamy's already here. She's excited. I'm shell-shocked, like, at that information. And my mom, rambles on that's like, yeah, I saw he was here. And I'm like, Mr. Bales? Is like, yeah, he comes to the dog park too. And I go, I didn't know that either. He goes, yeah. Anyway. So we go on the dog park. Dreamy, this was the worst dog park experience ever outside of, because there was only puppies in there. So I was completely stressed out because Dreamy was being a little bit of an ass.
was being a bit of an ass, and so I'm dealing with, grieving, shell shock, sadness, with anxiety, a little bit of miffed, and I'm like, within like 2 minutes, I'm like, I want to leave. This isn't good for anybody. She's just going to traumatize the puppies because she can't read social cues. So we decided to just leave it be for a little bit because she, left them alone, thank God, for at least a second. And it was on a wet day. It was a rainy day, no doubt, actually. It was damp, just rained. And we were looking for a bench to go sit on. And I found one that wasn't wet. And I was sitting in it. But my mom, has her oxygen tank. And, so I'm like, you can just have my spot. And she's like, well, I can dry off this spot. And I'm like, no, it doesn't matter to me. So I was just standing by the bench. And not really trying. I was actually not looking at Dream at all because she was stressing me out, and the whole thing was just bad. And the whole thing was bad. I was stressed. I didn't want to look at anything, so I distracted myself, and I'm like just nitpicking, like looking at the grass, looking at my shoes, looking at my clothes, and looking at the bench. And then I read this, the bench has a placard, they always do. And as I'm reading the placard, I pause. And I got confused because I saw, okay, I recognize the first name, I think. And then I skipped to the end, and I'm like, okay. And then I read her middle name. On the same day. On the same day I learned she died. There is no mistaking that was her. Her middle name gave it away. That's what everybody knew her at school. Miss Bales. But I didn't know I was still in shock, denial, and anxiety. And I was like holding my breath, and I just look at my mom. I'm not crying yet while I'm at the park. And I go, Joy. I just literally call my name and my mom's name by her first name to get her attention. I'm like, Joy, what does this say? And she's go, what? And she struggles to turn around, and then she reads it. And she goes, oh my God. And we look at each other, we start crying in public. We sat on her bench that just got installed with her name on it. This was like a really fucked up Disney moment. It was like very cruel. How did it play out like that? I learned of her passing as we're going to the dog park. The dog park's already a mess. I'm already a mess. The day's gloomy as hell. We saw a dead deer. Several on the way to the fucking dog park too. And I said, oh, that's not good, jokingly. And then we just fucking see her bench. I didn't want to go to the dog park for a while. But Dreamy needed to have fun. Like the whole part that kind of ruined the moment of astonishment that this was actually real and actually happening. Like, we took a picture of it to make sure we weren't hallucinating later. I made sure my mom did. I don't know if I can share it, but I don't know. That whole experience was a mix of emotions. Cause like, as a kid I didn't, appreciate her. And she was always kind of odd. And then I got to know her as a person because she was taking care of my baby. And she was so fun and nice. I definitely liked her more as an adult to an adult than as a kid. And she was so nice. It's really fucked up. Some say that's a beautiful moment, but I've yet to get the beauty from it. Right now it just makes me sad. We recently went to the dog park a few times, and I kind of stay away from her bench. But yeah, I don't sit on it very long if we have to sit. I told my mom I call this the cursed bench. That's not what I meant to say, but that's what I called it at the time because it like that whole day was written like a fucking movie and it was awful. It was like set up. It was like set up by the fucking universe. I learn she passed away. And then we go to the dog park, and we know they just installed a new bench, and we were talking about that to try to distract ourselves. So, as we're meandering and Dreamy's being a ding dong, we're like, okay, we need to sit down, because if we keep corralling our child, we're just gonna have to leave. And so my mom sits on the bench, I sit on the bench, I stand on the bench, and I'm just staring into the void. And then I just read the placard and I went, no. There's no way. But when I asked my mom to read it and she said, oh my god, that made us cry. How that seemed fucking universe, what the hell? This is worse than when I learned something like historical or like I hear a word, I learn a word, and then the universe starts, like, matrix bombing that, and it makes me really paranoid. I'm like, nobody was saying that 3 seconds ago. Why is everybody saying that word? Anyway, it's a different tangent, but yeah. That kind of messed me up. Oh, I guess it's last month's woes. I wish Dreamy could have been more of a force-sensitive dog or something, because she was an ass that day. We couldn't even grieve properly because we were still stressed out from Dreamy being Dreamy at the park with all the puppies. So we left within, like, I'd say 7 minutes, and it's like a 15 to 20 minute drive there. Not a good day. Yeah. Anyway. I guess it's nice to finally have that be able to be out. I'm just it's really hard. I also was having this with my VTuber group that, because we got attacked before we even debuted, and we still have a bunch of eyes on us, and we're hoping that the second time doesn't go bad too. I didn't want chronic dizziness and pain to be my quote-unquote disability, because I do actually have a disability. It's not, I put it in simple terms like that because if anybody else has occipital neuralgia, I probably will not match them very well. And I'm terrified of that. because I've seen how awful those people were with our group. And the last thing I want to hear is somebody calling me or anyone like faking, like they fake their disability, or that's not your disability, that's not even how it works. I'm sorry, mine's a watered down. That's what my dad says. Everyone he has in his family has it. And he's like, yeah, you'll see different varieties here. It just sucks. Because even doctors can't make up their minds, so how am I supposed to? How am I supposed to convince people who don't know any better than me that what I have is true? I mean, I showed Q everything. I don't mind showing the whole world, but I still have that fear that even with evidence, somebody would call me a liar. I fuck with my brain all the time. But I'm not a liar. Given my I used to keep every promise. I used to be motivated. I used to try. Now it seems like the only thing I try to do is be depressed. I don't know. How can we be from an accepting world where people are like, yeah, it's okay, and then for them to also say, you're wrong, you're faking it, you're a liar, you're not right. It fucks with people. Sweet Anita brought up these same points, like people questioning your health, questioning your disability. She has Tourette's, and there's been a bunch of TikTok people, a lot of teens, that they think having a disability or a mental disability as it's cool, when really they're actually hurting the people who have the disability. And having to watch Anita basically say the same thing that in my head I've been tormented by, but that she actually gets because she streams. She's a very high streamer, very big and important, and she's been in a funk because of all this. It sucks. One of the things I like to say is I would rather believe your blatant lie than not listen to you when you do tell the truth. Even if you lie about everything, but tell me the truth about something, I don't wanna, if somebody says they have something, even if I don't think it's true, that's none of my business if I don't think it's true. That's my brain being an asshole. I give them the benefit of the doubt until it is completely proven they're BSing, and I've never had that happen, and I never look for it, because that's just a jungle of shit. Yeah. I want to have fun again. I've been watching. It's really messed up, but have any of you ever watched something to make you sad, or watch something where you know that this isn't good and this is all bad and you probably shouldn't listen to it because it's pretty fucking awful? like hearing somebody recant their stories of trauma and them crying hysterically and being a mess, and it's all raw, it's all real. And then you feel better as you're listening more and more about it. Like, it's therapeutic because I'm such a meek child. I've been kind of like vicariously living through like Raytana had a hard time, and I'd stumble upon one of the worst. I heard all of her pain. I've been having the same thoughts, concerns that would happen to me that have happened to her and are still happening. And it's just fucking horrible. But I've been finding some peace in listening to her and all her content because she's very honest and she'll she'll tell you how she feels, but it's scary to watch. I guess it's one of those things where it's like having the perspective and knowing that somebody is worse off than you should motivate you to be grateful. And it was for a little bit, and now in this moment I just feel guilt for feeling motivated because I do sympathize with her because I've been through burnout. I've been through, a lot of the mental illnesses she has, I do have as well. It's just not. How are we supposed to have fun? This is why I didn't want to be big. I just want my few viewers that care. Like, please don't idolize me. I don't want to be stalked. I don't want to be doxxed. If I dox myself, that's fine. But knowing somebody else out there can and will, out of vindictive or a laugh, fuck up your life. Maybe I'm too fragile of a soul and I shouldn't. These kind of videos shouldn't be public. But I like what Raytana does. She needs to have these rants, these raves, these emotions out. Because bottling up will trigger her into not good places, which is very dangerous. And I'm pretty much the same. Every time I procrastinate with trying to make things better or I get stuck in a loop, if I'm just left to be stuck in that loop, it just gets worse. I don't know. I was feeling motivated listening to her. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have even be I wouldn't have been on the journey I've been to be a VTuber that I am. I don't know if she knows this, and I'm afraid to talk to her because she's going through a lot and she's very sensitive to stuff, and I in no way want to offend Raytana because I understand a lot of the struggles. I do not pity Raytana. I relate to Raytana because I struggle the same way. I know the pain. It's not about sympathy, it's like, hey, look, somebody gets it. Somebody knows what this feels like. That's nice. Anyway, if she hadn't opened auditions for one of her narrations, which she never does, I got a part and I literally was the most giddy person. I actually practically forced my grandpa to go buy me a headset microphone, which was like better than potato quality, but it was very potato. And with that, I realized I can still do voice acting work, and I can learn how to get the white noise out. And then I upgraded to a better microphone. And then I'm like, I can make YouTube videos, and I could do this and I could do that. And then I had a YouTube channel, and then I somehow got over here in VTuber world, and it literally, no joke, came from I bought a mic headset just to audition for that. I'm very grateful that that journey was given to me by a random opportunity by a very, very real human being that struggles in a lot of the same ways. They struggle way more than me. But in the ways they struggle that I have and I can relate to, I appreciate. I'm indebted in a way, I kind of feel. I do not idolize anyone because that just makes you a stalker or a creep. Or at least it was for her. Anyway, I need to stretch out my leg. My phone's dying. This wasn't meant to be a video where I would be crying. I just wanted to do a short update. And now I'm very tired. On that note, I guess last thing I can mention is that I'm pretty sure is it tinnitus is when your ears are ringing constantly due to like ear damage of too much loud music. It's getting a bit unbearable in my head, and having the ringing in my ears is not helping. So I need to have less earbuds in my ears because it doesn't go away, but I've noticed that if I just don't have them in general, it's better. Which kind of sucks because if I can't hear the notifications and see the notifications on stream, and I can't hear the characters during a cutscene, like, having earbuds is important. Having speakers while you're doing a stream like that, it doesn't work. It's just feedback loop. I don't know. I just want to revert back to a kid. So I have like creativity, motivation, and freedom. Where all these poopy emotions were kind of there, but not this drastically developed. And I know some of you might say, take as much time as you need. What I need is I need to feel like I'm contributing by doing the bare ass minimum every day. Whether that's posting like Jenta out of context 5 seconds. I've already gotten a lot of those lined up, and any day I'm depressed or I just feel like a garbage ass person, I'm gonna post out of context clips. That's my plan. Because we all know me, I'm the king of fuck ups. I used to be able to keep my promises. No day goes by where I'm not haunted by them. Friends have changed too. I'm bad at change. I just want a renaissance for me, but I either feel like I'm not worth it or I'm trying to sabotage that from being a reality. I feel like I need an actual manager, but I can't afford an actual manager. I don't know what a manager would do, but I need something. Anyway, I took my night meds. I took, I guess, 3 Ativan, counting the one that's already in the night meds. So I'm mellowing out. But yeah, even when you're all gone, I'll still be making content. I'll feel better about making content, I guess. It sucks being alone, but alone's the only thing I know what to do. It's like I refuse to be happy or something. Anyway, my phone's gonna die. I had to plug it in. I will post this publicly, but then as I get paranoid about it being up, it might become member only content, like some of the other member only content. If you are a member, there is now a member only playlist. Maybe I should link the playlist in the community tab for members. There's not much there. There could be more, but I accidentally doxed myself on some of the records. So there's a lot I need to do, a lot I want to do. If I keep sitting on myself, I'm gonna just end up dying here, being homeless. I feel like the world's biggest pathetic human ever, and I deserve it. Alright. I got nothing else to say.